who do not require any introduction. It is our own Ramchandra Prabhuji. He is disciple of Loknath Swami Maharaj, and he and his family is leading us and serving the Krishna conscious movement for a very long time. Today's topic is as wonderful as the speaker is, that is Krishna's pastime. With this, I will hand over mic to Ramchandra Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, Anish Prabhu, I have emailed you the PPT. Can you screen share, please?
Sure, Prabhu.
Nam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhar Shivasadi Gauravakinanda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Prangamadayate Giramiya Kripatamam Shri Taranam Shri Chaitanya. All right, Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining early morning session. So today, today's topic is the last chapter of the Krishna book, which is entitled "The Summary Description of Lord Krishna's Pastimes." It's probably one of the biggest or the longest chapter. So there's so much to cover in here, and I'll try to summarize it. So throughout the Krishna book, we've heard the pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan and Govardhan and surrounding forests. But in this one, Sukadeva Goswami then goes to Dwarka, and in conclusion, the Dwarka pastimes and the opulences and wealth and beauty in Dwarka is explained. So Amresh Prabhu, you found it, right?
Yeah, Prabhuji, I found it. Few minutes.
Okay.
I'll be able to.
All right, no problem. I'll continue. So, in Dwarka, as we know, Krishna is in more an opulence form. He's a king there, and he enacted different pastimes with his 16,108 wives. Now, the unique thing about that is that it wasn't that we hear that Krishna expanded himself into 16,108 husbands of the queens. And when Narad Muni went through different palaces in Dwarka, he found Krishna there in each and every palace. But the most unique thing is that in each and every palace, Krishna's activities were different from Krishna with another wife. So the explanation of Sukadev in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that just like even a TV, right, which has, if you have many TVs, there's expansions of the TV. But when you're playing something, you go to an electronic store and you'll see pretty much all the TVs playing the same thing. So there's multiple expansions, but it's the same thing enacted by the same TV, for example. Saurabhi Muni was one who had expanded himself into 8 times. But that was limited, and his activities were also limited. So yogis can do that. They can expand themselves also, but it's also in limit. And that's why Krishna is also called Yogeshwara, the master of all the yogis. So this is the beauty of him. And also Krishna, in each and every palace that he had, there were so many things in there. But even before that, Krishna's wives, through his wives, 16,108, he had grandchildren, he had great-grandchildren. And still, when you look at the queens and Krishna, and pretty much all the queens, they look no more than between 16 and 20 years of age. They looked young, they looked fresh. You know, we see in this material world the reflection of the spiritual world, where one has a child bears even one child, they're completely, their looks, their energy level, their aging, everything kind of goes downhill pretty much. But here, that wasn't the case. And then there's description of Dwarka itself in this chapter, where it explains that how the city of Dwarka looked. So if you were to enter the city of Dwarka, throughout the streets, you will, first of all, you'll start smelling beautiful fragrances. And it was completely crowded with elephants, horses, chariots. Soldiers were decorated with golden ornaments. There were green parks all over, gardens which were filled with flowers and fruits. There were chirping birds and buzzing bumblebees. So this is Dwarka. Kṛṣṇa and his queens, they would sport in the lakes, in the palaces. Each palace had lakes and gardens. And within these lakes, when Kṛṣṇa and his wives would sport, Gandharvas, musicians, dancers would enhance their water sports in these lakes. They would glorify him in a musical concert. Imagine being in a spa. You're sitting in the hot tub, and there's music playing in the background, and that's like heaven for us. Now, in this case, Kṛṣṇa being in his palace above, clear skies, stars shining, the moonlight lighting up the entire palace, and there's music playing from by heavenly Gandharvas. There is musicians around, in and around. There's dances going on in and around. This is our Supreme Lord, the best of the best. There's drums playing, there's mridangas, there's string instruments, there are bugles, all sorts of music is being played. And while they're playing, there's so much description that the Kṛṣṇa is sprinkling water, spraying water on the queens, and the queens also, like the syringe, what we call pichkari in India during holy time. With those pichkaris or the syringe, big ones, they're spraying water on Kṛṣṇa. Their loosened hair, the queens, appears like a beautiful waves of a river. And after the water sports, when Kṛṣṇa and the queens would come out of their water sports, they would leave behind their wet garments. And those wet garments were taken by the musicians, the dancers, because they had no other source of income. That was their service. But whatever was left behind, they would collect that. They would take that with them. And you can only imagine how precious the garments of the queens must have been of Dwarka. Kṛṣṇa's behavior with his wives, his movements, his talking, his smiling, his embrace kept them always attached to him. This is the perfection of life. I'm not sure if you're still sharing or not, Amrish Prabhu, but if you can't, then maybe I'll just share it. Please let me.
I'm sharing it, Prabhuji. Are you able to see?
I'm not able to. Is everybody else able to see?
No,
No,
Prabhuji.
Prabhu.
All right. So this is the perfection of life when one is attached to Kṛṣṇa through each and every aspect of his blinking his eyes, his smiling, his talking. They're all the time thinking about. So this is the topmost love for Kṛṣṇa outside of Braj. The queens were always absorbed in his thoughts, sometimes remaining silent and sometimes speaking in delirium. Delirium means in a completely confused state. So let me start sharing. Maybe that might be easier. I wanted to look at everybody. So, okay. So when the queens would be completely in delirium, they would be in a state of separation, just like the gopis. They would start speaking. to the birds, to the ocean, to the moon. So one of the queens would call out, there's a bird called Kurari bird, and would say, "Hey, Kurari bird, why are you lamenting throughout the night? You know that our master, our Shyam Sundar, has gone to sleep. It's so quiet. And you are making so much noise. Is that because you're suffering because of not seeing him? Are you also suffering like we are?" So here, the queens are basically comparing their situation with the situation of these animals and other entities. And yeah, I think we lost it again. Bear with me. So they're comparing these things. What happened to you? Is your heart also pinching like ours? Are you also disturbed? Why are you lamenting throughout the whole night? And this way they talk to the Kurari bird. Then they talk to the Chakravaki bird. Chakravaki is another bird which is the female of Chakravak bird. And there, the queens are telling Chakravaki bird, "Hey, what's happened to you? Why are you closing your eyes? Are you searching for your husband who's flown away to a different part of the world? Are you lamenting pitiably because of that? Just like we are grieved by Shyam Sundar having gone. He's where is he? Where has he gone? We think you're also anxious. You're also anxious to put the garland on the lotus feet of the Lord and then place it on the head of yours, just like we want to. Just imagine the separation. Just imagine the love that they have, that they've just gone crazy. Devotees are crazy. Pure devotees are crazy. They're crazy. Why? Because they're constantly thinking about the Lord. When people don't think of us as crazy, like if your family members never said, "You've gone crazy, pagal ho gaya hai tu Krishna ke piche." If that has not happened yet, means even tinge of love for Krishna hasn't come to in our hearts yet. When that happens now, it is very, very difficult to not think about and speak about Krishna all the time. When somebody tells us that "Tu to kaam se gaya, pagal ho gaya tu," understand this is a compliment. It's a compliment and it's a checkpoint that yes, I'm headed in the right direction. Then the queens speak to the ocean. Why are you roaring all day and night? The ocean is always making sound and moving. That queens are saying, "Hey ocean, don't you sleep at nights? You are supposed to have so much of gravity. You're so strong. You're never sleeping. Do you have insomnia? Are you suffering from insomnia? Just like us, we suffer from insomnia too, because we just can't sleep. If we sleep, we may stop thinking about Krishna. What will happen?" And that's why we are also suffering from insomnia. And we agree, ocean, that there is no remedy for this insomnia. There is no dawa in the market. Hamari neend hi nahi hoti. Hum so hi nahi pate. And we can understand your situation as well.
Prabhuji, this is Sush. I am showing this.
Thank you very much. Then they go to the moon god. Then they look up, sky mein ek moon chamak raha hai, the moon is shining. And they ask, "Hey moon, are you suffering from tuberculosis? You're getting skinnier day by day. What happened to you? As we know, there's full moon and there's new moon, and then the moon, when it's full, then it shrinks and shrinks. And they're saying, why are you shrinking? Is that because of your rays are not even, it's not even enlightening, it's not lighting up anything now. You've just skinned up. Is that because of the mysterious, sweet words of Kṛṣṇa? Just hearing the sound of Kṛṣṇa sometimes, are you just shrinking from ecstasy? We can understand your situation, Moon, because we go through the same severe anxiety. And that's why we also sometimes become very grave and just get lost in Krishna's sweet words. Then they feel the breeze, and then they call out Himalaya and says, hey, Himalayas, what have we done to you? हमने क्या आपका बिगाड़ा है? This breeze, ये जो पवन जो घूम रहा है, उससे आप हमारे, you're invoking the lust and love for Kṛṣṇa. But you know how Kṛṣṇa is. We have already been stricken by his love. Please do not injure us more. वो थे हमारे साथ, and then पता नहीं कहाँ चले गए. अब फिर से आप उनकी याद दिलाएंगे हमें. Please, और मत सताओ breeze. Hey Pavan, और मत सताओ. Then they talk to the clouds. Hey beautiful clouds, your color resembles the color of Shyam Sundar. The dark clouds carry a lot of water. The dark clouds are giving clouds. The devotees from those clouds should remember that we need to become like giving clouds, like the dark clouds, because it carries a lot of water in it, and it pours water in where it's required. And that is the color of Shyam Sundar. If somebody asks, what is the color of Kṛṣṇa? It is like that dark clouds. So says, hey, you resemble exactly like Kṛṣṇa. And that's why you must be very dear to Kṛṣṇa. You're always absorbed in his meditation. And that is why you're looking exactly like Kṛṣṇa. We can appreciate your heart. And I'm sure your heart is full of anxiety for Shyam Sundar, just as ours. Hey, clouds, you know, we could have just been at home. We just didn't have to be here with Kṛṣṇa. We're so much in anxiety. You know, some people say like, ye sab kya anxiety, ye sab kya, ye sab, why you take up so much pressure for, you know, devotional service for temple and this festival and that festival and this and that. It's just better that I just don't go. Just better that I stay home. The gopis say similar to the clouds. It's just better we could have just done that. But you know what? We can't. That's a problem. We've purchased this anxiety. In fact, हमने ये खरीदा है. We have just bought. It's not just come upon us. We want this anxiety for Kṛṣṇa. This is pure love. Srila Prabhupada took so much anxiety to grow this movement of his. It is a misconception of devotees that anxiety is bad in Kṛṣṇa consciousness. It imbalances material life. But we see from the most exalted. Now compare their anxiety to us. We have to pray that Kṛṣṇa, at least 1% of anxiety, can you please bless me with to serve you, just like the wives of Kṛṣṇa and the gopis of Vrindavan. Then they speak to the cuckoo bird and say, cuckoo, who usually makes sounds at night and in the early mornings. But when the queens heard the cuckoo making noise at night, they started speaking that, hey, cuckoo, your voice is the sweetest. As soon as you start vibrating your sweet voice, it automatically, immediately reminds us of Kṛṣṇa. Because your voice and Kṛṣṇa's voice is very similar. We must admit that you're really blessed by Kṛṣṇa. And when you make that sound, cuckoo, you even make the dead appear, make them alive. And right now, our hearts are dead, are dying from separation of Kṛṣṇa. But suddenly when we hear your voice, it brings life into us. We are so indebted to you, Kaku. We're so obliged to you. Please let us know how we can welcome you, Kaku, or how we can do something for you. Look at the mood of the queen. This little bird, Kaku, is giving some life in their heart, is reminding them of Kṛṣṇa. And they're saying, how can I serve you, Kaku? This is the mood that us as practicing devotees should develop. That anybody who puts life into us, meaning who inspires us in coming closer to Kṛṣṇa, that should be the mood. How can I serve you? How can I welcome you? The material world outside, starting with the news and what is going on around the world, it actually brings a lot of distress, stress, and loss of hope in our lives. But when we hear Krishna Katha, when we are in Sangha of devotees, and it brings us inspiration, it brings us hope, it develops a tinge of love for Krishna, we must become indebted to them, to those devotees. The queens continued talking like that. Then they addressed the mountains and said, Mountain, you are so generous. You're so grave. You're standing on this whole earth and putting so much pressure and not moving. You must be thinking something. You're always in thoughtful mood. What are you thinking about? Are you thinking about how you can place Shyam Sundar's feet on the peak of you, mean on the top of the mountain? Is that what you are thinking about all the time? We can understand that because we also think about that all the time. We also think, when will Krishna place his feet on us? And they're connecting that to the mountains. Then they go to the rivers. Hey, river, it's summer season. And I can understand why you are so dry. All your beds are dry. Your banks are dry. There's no water. You're no longer blooming lotus flowers. There's nobody coming to you to take bath in you. You're so lean. We understand your position. You know what? We've also lost everything because of separation from Shyam Sundar. We no longer hear his pleasing words. Our hearts are not working properly. And therefore, we have also become lean. And that's why we think you're also like us. We sympathize with you, river. Then the queens address the swan. And they say, hey, swan, please come here. Come here. We want to talk to you. You're welcome. Come here. Please sit down. My dear swan, can you tell me, do you have a message from Shyam Sundar? Has he sent a message for us? Because we take you to be his messenger. If you have some news, can you please tell us? We've been dying to hear about Shyam Sundar. You know, our Shyam Sundar, he's always independent. He doesn't care for us. He never comes under our control. We've all failed to control him. And therefore we ask you, is he okay? Is he keeping well? But let me tell you this one, that this Shyam Sundar, na, he's very fickle. Oh, kabhi bhi, he will show you love, he will smile at you, and the next moment he'll just disappear. His friendship is always temporary. Thoda sa bhi hum kuch bol denge na, he'll get agitated and he'll leave. Why is he so unkind with us? Would you know? Sometimes he tells us that, hey, queen, I'm with you alone only. But you know what? Then he just disappears. Does he remember that assurance that he gave us, that he's always with us, he's only with us? Does he remember, or he forgets? Anyways, enough of my talking, Swan. Please sit. Would you like some water? Please sit down. You know what, Swan? He doesn't care for me. Then why should I be mad for him? I'm very sorry to let you know that you have become the messenger of a poor-hearted soul. Oh, what was that? You asked me to go to him? No, I'm not going. I'm not going, Swan. What is that? You're saying that he's going to come to me? Oh, really? He has that desire to come back to me? All right, okay. Well, ask him to come. I'm right here. But listen, please tell him, don't come with his most beloved goddess of fortune, Lakshmi. Do you think he can be separated from Lakshmi even for a moment? Can't he come alone without Lakshmi? This behavior of his is very displeasing. Does it mean that he's not happy with us? Does it mean that he's not happy without Lakshmi? Does it mean that he has an ocean of love for her and not for us? So this way, all the wives of Kṛṣṇa, all the queens are speaking to these entities. You can only imagine what kind of love it is. When I was reading this, I was completely amazed at how the level of love that the queens have for Kṛṣṇa. It just reminded me that there's so much more that I need to do to develop love for Kṛṣṇa. Because right now our love is so mechanical. 16 rounds ho gaye, 8 baj gaya, keep the mala down. Ab next mala uthega subah ko 6 baje ko tomorrow. That is not love. That is just doing our rituals. But that is also good. In Kali Yuga, even doing that is not bad at all. But we need to get better than that. Then Kṛṣṇa, Sukadev Goswami in the next slide explains about the 5 excellence, particular excellence of Kṛṣṇa. When the Ganges flows through a place, it purifies everything and everyone who comes in touch with the Ganges. But when Kṛṣṇa entered Dwarka, when Kṛṣṇa ruled Dwarka, all the Yadus, all the living entities there were purified by Kṛṣṇa. There was no need for Ganga to be there. If Kṛṣṇa is present, Ganga, who appeared from the lotus feet of Kṛṣṇa, is nothing in front of Kṛṣṇa. Not only that, but both the devotees and the non-devotees achieved the same result. They both were liberated. Shishupal, Dantavakra, all these demons who were present at that time were delivered by Kṛṣṇa. Now, one may think that one who's a friend, is a friend indeed, is a friend indeed, in need is a friend indeed. But those who are unfavorable to me, I'm not going to really, take care of them.
अभी बेड पे अभी टीवी देख रहा था सोफा पे, तो हम गए उसके पास, हमें गुड मॉर्निंग लेके से इसका रिएक्शन.
So the co-host should mute, the host should mute them. And Lakshmi ji also, who never remains in one place. Lakshmi never remains in one place. Now this is tomorrow or today is Dhanteras, Lakshmi Puja. And Dhanteras is very, very much misunderstood today by majority of the people. Dhan means wealth. And aaj wealth ka puja hoga. But actually Dhanteras means the appearance of Dhanvantari, who is the Lord of Ayurveda. It is Dhan Trayodashi. Doing the manthan, churning of the milk ocean, Dhanvantari appeared. And also during that time, Lakshmi ji also appeared. So Lakshmi ji is also worshipped. But we must not worship Lakshmi alone. The worship of Lakshmi and Narayan must happen together. If we think that just putting some silver coins and gold coins and doing that puja, just because be sure, Baba, Lakshmi Mata, jana mat yahan se. It's not going to happen. We saw in the previous verse where the queens of Dwarka, the most richest, most opulent, most wealthy, are saying that Krishna is not with us all the time. Krishna is with Lakshmi. And where is Lakshmi? She never leaves Krishna. So if there is no Krishna in the house, there is no possibility of Lakshmi. The Lakshmi that we possess is just because of our past good deeds. कहीं पे इधर उधर थोड़ा बोड़ा दान दिया होगा, उसका returns आ रहा है हमारे पास. But we are devotees of not Lakshmi, we are devotees of Narayan. And if Narayan is there, Lakshmi ji will follow. Or Lakshmi आए ना आए क्या फर्क पड़ता है? What difference it makes? We just need Krishna with us. And he is Ishvara Parama Krishna. He's the source of everything. And if Krishna is present, Shiva is present, Brahma is present, Indra is present, everything and everybody is present because he is the root of everybody. His name alone can deliver one from the pangs of this material world. Krishna is more excellent than his own incarnations. Jitne bhi incarnations hue hai aaj tak, Krishna is the most excellent because he's the source of all those incarnations. Just by surrendering to him, one can discharge all the principles of religious rites. Just by serving him, that's why Krishna says, Sarva Dharma, Sarva, all the religions, all your duties, Sarva Dharma Parityajya, Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. When I came to Krishna consciousness, and because this is Diwali time, I'll tell you this, we all have different traditions depending on which part of India you are from. We had a tradition also, which was Diwali time hai. So Diwali time mein, and uske pehle we do Lakshmi Puja, then we visit people, we have to give gifts. Why? Because it's a joyful atmosphere. But it's just that it was missing. Like we knew that Ram came, but okay, Ram came, theek hai, but I need my gifts and I want to fire the crackers and fireworks. That's our main focus. And Diwali din hai, to, I don't want to go anywhere. So it happened one such day where there was a Sunday program which fell on a Diwali, and I was asking my Siksha Guru, and I said, today we won't come because it's Diwali. That's our tradition. He said something very powerful that he said that, you've come to the shelter of Krishna. Do you think Lord Ram will not come to you if you are in the midst of all the devotees singing his own glories? Do you think that because you just lock your door, even the Yamadutas can enter your door if it's locked? You don't think Lord Ram, Lakshmi can enter your door and wait for you if you've gone and being in the association of devotees? Do you not think that Srila Prabhupada would have told us that on that day, on Diwali day, you should stay home? Because if you're not home, then you may miss Ramchandra bell maar ke jayenge, ghar pe koi nahi hai, to he'll be upset. Or yatra gayanti madbhaktaha tatra tisthami narada yatra gayanti madbhaktaha. Then I thought about it. I said, this is exactly what it is. Give up, surrender to Krishna, and forget about our rituals, our traditions, because our tradition is Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Our tradition is what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And when a devotee comes to that point, they are ready to give up what they are so engraved and attached to. Then Krishna shows his mercy. And then I decided, you know what? I will do what my leaders, what my spiritual master, what my Srila Prabhupada has guided me to do. And then slowly, we started giving up all these other so-called rituals. But it's okay. If one wants to do that, that's fine. But not at the cost of missing devotional service. Not at the cost of skipping temple once a week and many other rituals. Some people do Navratri, some people do Durga, some people do this fast, they do that fast. Didn't Krishna, isn't it told us? Ekadashi is the fast that we all Vaishnavas do. Ekadashi, the most important. But we are sometimes stuck in these rituals because we fear that ये मैं सालों से कर रहा हूं, अगर मैंने बंद किया तो इंद्र की तरह ये देवी ये देवता मेरे कुल देवता भी बिगड़ जाएंगे. बिगड़ने दो. जब वो बिगड़ेंगे तब कृष्ण आएंगे हमारे लाइफ में, बोलेंगे ए रुक जा, ये दिख नहीं रहा, ये वैष्णव है, इसने मेरी शेल्टर ली है, डोंट टच दिस पर्सन. बट वो मौका ही हम नहीं देते. Because we fear. हमें कृष्णा एक बगल में चाहिए और हमें बाकी सब दूसरे बगल में चाहिए. Krishna is not there with us. We have to sacrifice. We have to give up. The next slide, Sukdev Goswami concludes, engage yourself in hearing and chanting the transcendental pastimes of Krishna. This will help us cut the knots of material contamination. People sometimes wonder, बहुत materially, बहुत engrossed, बहुत चीजें चल रही है. How can I cut this? कैसे मैं छोड़ू ये सब? By increasing your chanting and hearing, Shravanam and Kirtanam of Krishna's pastimes. That is the solution. Don't look here and there. Don't try to fix our life by reducing थोड़ा ये time, थोड़ा वो time, थोड़ा vacation, कहीं पे अकेले जाके रहना है, चलो बीच के पास जाके बस हम और हमारे जाके बैठते हैं, and then सब everything will magically happen, and then we will feel अच्छा हो जाएगा सब कुछ. नहीं अच्छा होगा. You could be sitting in the moon and your mind will be disturbed with material life. Practically, I'm telling you, when we increase our chanting and make that chanting pure, sincere, without offense, and we increase, go on YouTube, hear more and more lectures, and lectures also, be careful. There is so many. There is this Maharaj from Vrindavan, then there is that speaker from here, then there is somebody who speaks at TEDx. We hear so many things. At the end of the day, we are not getting the gist of it. At least hear Prabhupada, 15-20 minutes daily, our foundation. Hear our spiritual master, understand their mood. Have we done that in a day? Before we go and start hearing many others, have we done that? Solitary practice prematurely will result in a fall down, Shukdev Goswami says. That although Sukdev Goswami told Parikshit Maharaj and other sages, and Parikshit Maharaj was guys said, the sab chhod ke chale jao solitary mein, go into the forest, which is true. But prematurely doing that, withdrawing ourselves and saying, nahi, main apna akela bhajan karunga, is a risk. We will fall down. Rather, engage yourself in whatever you have, wherever you are in Krishna's service, then you'll be safe. That's why Srila Prabhupada cautioned his devotees. Vrindavan, Govardhan mein jaake Baba ji ki tarah rahoge, you'll be messed up. Baba ji ki tarah bhi rahoge, udhar bhi women aake uska service aap loge, and you'll fall down. Rather, engage yourself in devotional service. Engage your mind in devotional service. Do not seek attention and reputation. ये हम जो भी करते हैं, whatever seva we do, whatever bhakti we do, today I'm speaking, not for reputation, not that people will say, best class. Yesterday I was introduced, Sanali Mataji said, oh, tomorrow is, she did her host part, which is perfect because she's trying to encourage everybody to come on the class. But from my side, I had to be very careful because here's glorification. None other than now entry marenge, Ramchandra Prabhu and his class. I have to be very careful because I can't let that in my head. I have to remember, I'm just a servant. I'm just a message deliverer. Mujhe best tarah se message, that my ability I have to deliver. Why? Only for one reason, that may I be able to inspire one person to chant, one person to come to the center, one person to take up devotional service. And that's it, done. And this is a constant reminder that we all have to do to ourselves. Now, when we become sincere in our devotional service, purity is the force, automatically we will be glorified. Reputation, attention, all that will come. Hanumanji just did his service. What happened? Sab log Hanumanji ke gun gaate aaj tak. So do not look for that. Do our service in a humble mood, and that's it. Leave it. Don't claim to be a Vaishnava for false prestige. When one engages in devotional service, automatically one gets glorified. So Shukdev Goswami concludes the super exalted position of Lord Krishna by glorifying him in the following way. O Lord Krishna, all glories unto you. You are present in everyone's heart as Paramatma. Therefore, you are known as Jananivas. Jananivas means one who lives in your heart. So the lessons that learned are: do not compare and belittle one pastime of the Lord with the other. Example, Vrindavan versus Dwarka. We are not qualified to do that. Sometimes I hear devotees, well, Rukmini Dwarkadish se jada Radha Krishna. Karo na tum Radha Krishna. Humko karne do Rukmini Dwarkadish. हमको करने दो सीताराम, हमको करने दो नारायण लक्ष्मी. It's okay. They're all Vishnu Tattva. The Krishna is Krishna. Yes, the topmost is Golok Vrindavan. But we are not at that position to start saying, no, 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 not Dwarka, not this, not that. We must educate ourselves. And we should not become sentimental. No pain, no gain. There is no one great devotee of the Lord that did not go through a lot of pain. Who are we? The queens were suffering when they were talking to the swan, the moon, and the mountains. They had a lot of pain in their heart. And because of that pain, they're speaking to the walls, they're speaking to anybody and everybody. Do you have pain in your life? If you don't have pain in your life, even if it's material pain, utilize that material pain towards Krishna. It is a blessing to have pain. We realize it. At least I've felt it. Whenever there's been pain, my chanting has been more powerful. When good times are there, it's just Hare Krishna, ho gaya kya 16 round, rakh do. And when it's painful time, 16 ho gaya, Hare rakhu kyu, karte raho, karte raho, karte raho. And that is why when we hear Mother Kunti saying, please give me more pain, that is the mood. So if there is pain in your lives, don't be disappointed. Devotees' craziness and madness for the love and his devotees is a sign of their exalted position. Do not imitate the gopis or the wives of Krishna and falsely try to renounce everything. And with that, I will conclude today's talk. If anybody has any question, comments, please let me know.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. It was a wonderful presentation, and definitely one of the points you said that if you can inspire even one soul, you have inspired many souls, and you keep doing it again and again. Thank you very much. Any questions, Prabhuji, Mataji?
I know it's also work time for most of you all, but thank you for at least being present. And
Yeah, really appreciate. Before we disperse, we have very important programs in our center. So tomorrow 8 a.m. We have lecture on Gajendra fights. Gajendra fights the crocodile at 8 a.m. Then Saturday we have Govardhan Food Festival. Sunday we have Diwali celebration and Sunday feast program. And Monday we have Govardhan Puja at the center. Please make sure to join. Okay, Hari Bol, we will conclude the call.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Thank you.
Hari
Bol.
Hari Bol.
Krishna. Very enlightening.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.